Oh, hey, folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to Horrible Horror. Tough guy, so bad, it's scary.
Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot needs it. Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
What's up, Moon Goons? Welcome to Horrible Horror, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Mr. Marshall Hampton. With me is my co-host, my buddy, Mr. A.A. Ron Southworth. How you doing, A.A. Ron?
I'm feeling pretty good. Big shout out to Hacksaw Jim Duggan again for the
Oh!
intro. I love that. That's so much fun.
It
was
is
cool
awesome.
meeting him. But yeah, man, I'm doing good. It's unseasonably warm here today in St. Louis.
It is. It's like in the mid-60s, 70s.
70s, yeah.
It's going to be like this all week.
got
It's like, what?
74.
And people still don't believe in global warming.
Right, climate change, yeah.
It's February. We're in shorts. I saw a guy walk around in like a wife beater and like super shorts.
Yeah,
today.
man.
It was
I
like-
saw a guy like walking two dogs. He was wearing a tank top and shorts.
Yeah, it's like
You
in
know,
February.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah. Anyway, we are back with another awful, horrible movie. But before we get into that movie, we have a little housekeeping to do with our horrible horror March movie madness, if you will. Our first four brackets need to be finalized so we can figure out who's moving on.
And just to apologize, we've both been really lazy and not posting stuff on social media.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we forgot to post these or just kept putting it off. That's what I did. Just kept putting it off. And
I know that's what you've been doing. I've been busy with my little 5-month-old daughter who's keeping me insanely busy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But so yeah, we kind of dropped the ball on this one, but we're gonna try to get better about it. But so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna settle this between us for this round,
like men.
And if you disagree with us, then send something in and let us know.
know.
But first up is our first battle is between Bloody Bible Camp and Humanoids from the Deep.
Which is worse?
Yeah, remember that's the key. Which one is worse? Because we're looking for the worst of the worst for the last year. This is kind of a tough decision.
This is
a tough one to
really,
start off with.
really tough. This is one of the toughest ones I thought was in. I think this is like one of the toughest ones in the whole.
There's some really tough first round matchups. I even think the next bracket is pretty tough too. But Bloody Bible Camp and Humanoids from the Deep.
If you ask me which one do I want to watch right now, I'd want to watch Humanoids from the Deep. So I'm going to say Bloody Bible Camp was the worst.
Was the
of
worst?
The two.
Yeah. See, I'm torn. Like, it's hard because if we split, then we're like, well, what the fuck do we do? Because there's only two of us, and we don't have a tiebreaker.
I know, but it was so ridiculous. Humanoids from the Deep was so ridiculous. It was great.
Yeah, you loved that movie.
I did. I really
I
did.
originally said so bad it's scary, but
Because of my enthusiasm.
yeah. But yeah, it did make fun. We had fucking Jim who you don't fuck around with Jim.
Oh, Johnny Eagle.
Johnny,
I mean, just-
and I hate to say it because Vito Tribuco was so nice enough
Yeah,
to
and
come
hey-
on and talk about the movie with us. But I think he's a good sport about it too. So
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna say Bloody Bible Camp is worst of the two, but barely. It's still a
I
fun
agree.
movie to watch.
Yeah,
It's so
absolutely.
worth watching.
It's. I mean, we both I think said so bad it's good. We both enjoyed it. Yeah, but Vito Tribuco, we had an interview with him. He's a great sport, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And watch the movie. It's
Plus, it has Ron Jeremy as Jesus. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's
Come on.
awesome.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Ron Jeremy. Maybe we should start saying that instead of Jesus Christ. Huh?
Fucking Ron Jeremy. Oh, Ron Jeremy, damn it. All right, so bracket number 2, we have Tourist Trap and Camp Dread. Both of these, in my opinion, were absolute awful. I'll go with my. It's hard for me because Camp Dread was definitely more modern, so it looks nicer. So you fall in that trap of, oh well, it looks nicer, so it's probably a better movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not the case. That one was so disappointing in so many ways that it was, and like Daniel Harris, Eric Roberts, names.
Yeah.
But they were just phoning in for the paycheck. I hate it. I am actually going to cast my vote for Camp Dread being worse.
I'm right there with you because Camp Dread was fucking awful. I mean, just awful. Tourist Trap, they tried.
Yeah,
you know,
like
and they had some really.
I'm surprised to say because I thought this was going to be another difficult one because Tourist Trap is awful too.
Mhm.
But for the time it was made, they were trying something different.
It was definitely original.
It was definitely original. There were some really creepy factors to it. It had some creepiness. And yeah, I mean, the Chuck Connors was actually pretty awesome in that. He was really good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Plus, Babes.
Babes.
You know.
What's her
Charlie's
name?
Angel,
The Charlie Angels chick.
yeah.
God, what was her name? I remember her
I
name.
forgot her
Blonde-
name.
Yeah, but she was hot in it. Moving on. All right, so that was quick and easy. Matchup number 3, we have Jersey Shore Massacre taking on Street Trash. Now, to me, this is an easy one.
Oh man.
I'll throw it. To me, Street Trash is by far worse.
But Street Trash is so weird.
It is weird, but I could not. I would rather watch Jersey Shore Massacre 100 times in a row than watching Street Trash again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah,
That's a bold statement. As I look at the Viper,
our
the
10 of
10 and 5
10 and 5 Viper
behind
bottom
you.
behind us. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also gonna have to go with Street Trash.
Street Trash. Moving on.
Yeah, I mean, because it was worse than
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore Massacre. Because Jersey Shore Massacre was pretty fun.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
as far as a horror movie goes.
I mean, and plus, you know, they knew what they were doing. They were making fun of
they
the
knew
Guido,
exactly what
Jersey
they were
lifestyle.
doing. They were having a good time with
Yeah.
it. You know, it was good.
All right, the last one. This is where we had episode 48 taking on episode 49, where we have Jason Goes to Hell, which was our live show, taking on Nick Nolte's masterpiece, The Ginger Dead Man.
Ginger Dead Man, far worse.
Yeah, I would agree. Jason Goes still sucked in my
Yeah,
opinion,
sure did.
but at least had some awesome
Didn't
kills.
suck as bad as
Not
Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah, so that was pretty easy. So, all right, awesome. Boom.
That was pretty easy. Now we really need to get the Moon Goons in on this. We need to start posting these because I'd really like to see.
I'd love to get some other people's opinion.
Yeah.
But the thing I worry about is, yes, our Moon Goons who listen to the show are great, but I don't know how many of them actually watch the movies along with us. Because, hell, we're telling them, don't watch these movies.
Well, some of them were saying
Some of
don't
them-
watch them.
Yeah.
Other ones were saying, watch like Vito Tribuca's Bloody Bloody Bible Camp. Watch that movie. It's a good movie. Also, watch Humanoids from the Deep and knock yourself silly laughing because it's awesome.
So, speaking of, all right, our next 4 matchups, we'll get into, hopefully, have those posted up starting. I'll try to get to those Monday or, start fresh in the week. Oh, wait, today is Monday. I'm an idiot. We're recording normally a day or two later than we normally do, so it threw me off. Next matchup, we have Phantasm taking on Camp Massacre. Then we have Charlie's Farm going up against I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer.
Christ.
Then we have, and this, again, remember, this was complete random poll, but it's funny how this worked out. We have the Battle of the Cheerleaders going. We have Spirit Camp taking on Cheerleader Camp to the Death. And then finally, our last one for this round is Earth Day taking on Dahmer versus Gacy. And those are 2 of the shittiest of the movies that I'm surprised to see those go ahead.
I don't want one of them to move on or not move on.
I know they both
like
need
they
to move
both
on.
deserve to just
Yes, they do.
keep sucking.
Indeed, they do. All right, so that's coming up. We'll try to get better about keeping on top of that. Now, moving on to this week's movie. This week's movie is Sorority Slaughterhouse. This was a relatively new movie. I should say. It was released October 31st of 2016, so just like really new. It was made in 2015, but released obviously, so
It was released on Halloween.
yeah. Written by Ralphie Kanifsky, and to me that sounds like a fake name. But I don't know. And then I'm gonna butcher this guy's last name, but I've seen the name before. Written by and directed by David De
Butcher it.
Catio or Decotio. It's Decoteau, and it could be pronounced a couple different ways depending on how you want. But this David guy is, I guess he might have a kind of somewhat of a cult following because he's been doing directing a long time. He's got 131 movies to his name as a director alone. Some of them we're familiar with. Initially, the original Killer Eye, for instance, which we did on the show, and then he also did several of the classic cult following Puppet Master movies, and then he also did Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl Rama, Creepazoids as well. And then, just to refresh maybe if we didn't talk about this before, his very first 14 directorial credits, his first 14 movies were all hardcore porn movies, and about 90% were all gay porn under the name David McCabe.
Attaboy.
And he's used more stage names than
Aliases.
Yeah, he's also used names Julian Breen. This is Nick. It's weird. Ellen Cabot, Victoria Sloan, Joseph Tennant, and Mary Crawford.
This guy's got an identity crisis going on.
Big time.
Kind of like it.
Yeah, very interesting.
But he directed The Killer Eye.
Yeah,
The original one?
the original one.
One of my favorite movies ever. Love that movie.
Yeah, so he was The Killer Eye.
And he directed this.
Yep. It's funny because some of the things I was reading.
He lost it, man.
Yeah.
He lost it because Killer Eye is a masterpiece.
One of the things I was reading about him is that a lot of his movies apparently have very homosexual undertones, which is perfect because Killer Eye had those two drug bros who were just put the whole movie like in bed together in their boxers.
The Boxer Bros?
The Boxer Bros. Thank you. The Boxer Bros. Yeah. So, now, before I get to the cast, another thing that's really surprised me about this movie, like stuns me about this movie, is that the music in this movie is done by none other than Harry Manfredini, if I pronounce it right. And he should be known throughout the horror world because, one, he's got 162 credits as composer, but he's most famous for it because he's the original music score for the Friday 13th, the entire series, including Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X.
And you can tell there's such like when I was watching him, just like this is so much like the music's so much like Friday 13th.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to it, and I'm like, I haven't heard it anywhere else, but this is incredibly influenced. And now hearing that, I'm like, right when you said his name, I was like, yep, there it is.
Like I said, he's also came back to do the score for the Friday 13th video game that's coming out that's getting all the huge hype and buzz.
Cool.
And he also,
that's the only reason I might buy an Xbox One.
Yeah, I can't wait. I had that thing pre-ordered like months ago, long time ago, like last summer. Anyway, he also did House 2, House 4, and The Hills of Eyes 2 as all their music as well. This movie, if you really do want to watch it, you can find it on Amazon. The cast...
Don't do it.
The cast, the big get in this movie is it stars Eric Roberts.
This is his second time coming to the show.
Second time on the show.
Man, one more time and he's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
He's gonna be. He's closing on Ron Jeremy territory.
Yeah.
Well, not really. Jeremy's up like 6, I think.
Yeah, he's done.
He's closing on double digits for us.
God damn.
So he's the big get, but he's only on screen for like 5 minutes. And then I don't
even think it's 5 minutes, really.
Yeah, it's on screen time is really limited. And then we have Jessica Morris, who plays Allie. Now she's got 80 credits to her name. It was in 197 episodes of One Life to Live over a 5-year run. That's her big thing. But
on what?
One Life to Live, the soap opera.
Oh, okay.
She's also in the movie Role Models, which was pretty funny, which I think was like Paul Rudd and
oh yeah.
What's the other guy?
Stifler.
Yeah, Stifler. Sean Williams, I think.
Yeah, okay.
And she was in a TV episode called Sex Sent Me to the ER, which is like one of those like weird documentary movies. So she's like a reenactment of somebody.
That's fun.
And then she was in horror movies called Real Evil, The Dead Want Women, Venom, Decadent Evil 2, The Haunted Casino, and the upcoming movie The Sixth Friend. And was also in another horror movie with Eric Roberts called Haunted Hollywood. So that's kind of like the biggest girl in the movie. And then we have Jean Louise O'Sullivan, who plays Fawn. I only bring her up because she's also in some funny movies, like 32 credits, and she was in 2 of the Puppet Master movies, more recent ones, Axis Rise and Axis Termination. She was also in The Dead Want Women. And she was in The Ginger Dead Man 3, Saturday Night Cleaver. And she was in the movie called The Bates Haunting, which we talked briefly about back in our Halloween episode, because it's basically the exact same movie as Hallows Eve, almost. And there's actually 2 movies that take place at the same haunted trail that the movie's about. And this one's based on the other one that's very similar to Hallows Eve. And then other than that, there's really nothing. Just one other connection to our show is the girl who plays Kitty, who's a very small part of this movie, but Kitty is played by Brianna Joy Chalmer. Her 11 credits, one of them being Zombies. She was Amber, the prissy, rich girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was her in Zombies. So, all right, all that's done. Let's jump into the movie. Now, first of all, as of 2006 or October 22nd, right before the movie came out, 2016, the synopsis for this movie on Amazon and everywhere else you read goes as follows: a group of sorority girls with bad past, including one who just committed murder, wake up one morning to learn that they are locked inside their sorority house. What's worse is they find out that an escaped murderer is in that same house. Now, that is a complete and utter lie.
Nope.
This film is nothing like that whatsoever.
Never happened.
So, because when I first read, like, oh, okay, this could be fun. Yeah, again, I start watching, like, wow, talking about false advertising.
What the fuck am I watching?
Yes. So, that said, the movie opens with Eric Roberts, who plays Dean Whitman, on the phone with some unknown female student that he's been banging on the side.
And I gotta say, dude, Eric Roberts, just him on the screen by himself talking to the phone, fucking nailing it. He's hammering it home. He's having a good time. He's acting it up. I love it. This is probably my favorite part of the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. I'm surprised by that. But anyway, we know basically what we get is that the girl wants to end the affair, and Roberts, to me, is way too upset over this and starts begging and pleading with her not to. And he even starts to threaten her and her entire sorority, basically because he says the sorority girls tease and taunt men with their nubile bodies, and that you can't do this to me.
Yeah, I love. He's like, you just sit there and you tease us with your nubile bodies and your plump lips and sparkles in your eyes that warms your soul like sun. And I'm like, yeah, go Eric Roberts,
go.
And I just like it when he goes just like, I've always subbed with you. I've never subbed with another student. Okay, yeah, except for her.
She didn't mean
okay, except for her. And I'm not going to do this. So obviously he's been hitting a lot of the students strange.
Yeah, which I'm going to come back to that in a second because now we, like I said, we don't see who's on the other end, but she ends the affair. She's like, no, it's over. She hangs up the phone. Now, during this conversation, we keep getting shown this creepy clown doll in a clear plastic box that this girl sent him as a breakup gift. And written on the back of the box is
made by voodoo priests.
Yes, created by voodoo priestess Madame Petro, Louisiana, United States of America. And then, I'm like, okay, cool, that's going to come back. That, once the reveal is made at the end of the movie, that has zero to do with this plot at all.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So, so after the phone call, Robert rips the clown. He starts talking to the clown. And he rips it out of the case, tosses the case aside, and that's when he pulls out a goddamn revolver from his desk drawer, and basically loads it with one bullet and plays Russian roulette with the clown.
Yeah, so he's like, he's threatening the clown. It's like, yeah, you think that's funny? Huh? Let's see if this is funny. Pulls the trigger, click. And then he goes, okay, and spins the chamber, puts it to his head. Boom!
Boom!
What the fuck?
Well, first of all, before that even happens, like, we can tell something off the clown. Again, this makes zero sense when you go back and look at, because the clown there's a big red button that says, press me, and it talks. And it first says, hi, my name's Bobo. Let's have fun, or something or I want to have fun, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, well, all right, Bobo, if you were me, what would you do in my situation? And he's like, Bobo responds, I'd kill them all.
Yeah.
So you already think, okay, the clown's possessed or demonic already, which is a big loophole when we come to the end of the movie.
Right, I completely forgot about that part.
Yeah. So Robert shoots himself in the head, and the blood just splatters all over the Bobo the Clown doll, covers it in the blood, and then the eyes of the doll begin to crackle and swirl with energy.
Kind of this green glow.
Yellowish, green glow, and it starts to subtly make very subtle small movements. And then we hear Robert's voice, which is now supposed to be like the thoughts of the clown, like inside the clown. So apparently Robert's spirit has transferred into the doll, which has now made the doll come to life.
Yeah.
And Bobo Roberts says he wants to play and know exactly who he wants to play with. Now we fade to black, roll the opening credits. So before I go on to the movie, here's some of my problems with the opening scene. One, the office is supposed to be like the dean of a cow, like the big shot, and it's like the shittiest, smallest office I've ever seen. It's so tiny.
It's like someone's home office. I mean,
barely.
It's exactly what it is.
That is what it is.
It's a home office.
Yeah.
Now, if he's just at home chilling, Then yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but they clearly say later, oh, he was found dead in his office, his work office, not like his home. So I'm just thinking, you'd think the filmmakers could find a better office to shoot this 5-minute scene in.
I'm splitting hairs a little bit there, buddy.
So also, the other thing is, he's so upset about this one girl. At this time, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense because we've already said you've been banging girls a long time on the side.
Well,
it shouldn't fucking
that gets
matter.
explained.
This was my problem at the time.
Okay, well,
all right, fine, fuck it. You know what? You just like to rain on my parades all the time.
well,
All right,
I'm looking at the movie as a whole, not chunk by chunk by chunk.
all right.
Because if you look at it as a whole, you're like, okay.
And the other thing, okay, I'll skip that. The other thing is, why is he keeping a goddamn gun in his? I'm thinking again, this is his office at work. Why does he have a gun in his work drawer? Like, what college? Where's his college at? Because no, it is his college. The college, because they keep showing exterior shots of like this Spanish-looking building with all these people wandering around.
Oh, that's
not his
right.
home.
That's
so
right.
it is this school. So I'm not wrong on that. Suck it.
Hey, I didn't say you're wrong. I said maybe. I said maybe. Come on.
Also, when he realizes that he's trapped in the clown doll, he's insanely like calm about it. He's not like, what the fuck's happening? Oh
Yeah.
my god, what happened? He's like, all right, I
He's
guess
like,
I'm a clown now.
This feels good.
It's just weird. There's so many wrong with it. So after the crash, we go to the Delta Pi sorority house, which is like always the most generic name for every sorority in these movies. Like,
You gotta have pie in there.
it's always Delta Pi. Yeah, Pi this, Pi that, Pi. So, and we're nearly pretty much all the girls have left for spring break, and only a handful have stayed behind for various reasons, for whatever. Oh yeah, and by the way, the sorority house is a goddamn multi-million-dollar mansion, which has its own private tennis courts and pool. And it seems to be on a tropical island because we keep getting shots of like a sandy beach lined with palm trees.
What is that?
Where is sorority? They're like they're supposed to be in California, like LA area, because we see it in
Sure.
LA skyline.
Yeah.
But now there's like this sorority house, like saying like in the Bahamas. Somewhere.
Right, where is this college at? Why am I not going there?
Yeah.
UCLA, I think, is close to the beach, but I mean, goddamn,
yeah,
that's
SoCal,
crazy.
Cal,
That
UCLA.
looks like you said, like Bahamas, like
Yeah.
the tropics.
That is not a California beach. I mean,
Right.
there is like it's like the Lost Island or Jurassic Park Island or something. Like it's just beautiful, like picturesque.
There should be like topless natives walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first two girls we meet are Vicky/Victoria and Fawn. Now Vicky's kind of like the hot, bitchy one, and Fawn at first comes up as like the kind of girl next door type. We find out Fawn's boyfriend Marcus is supposed to be coming by to help her pack so she can leave tomorrow, while Vicky isn't leaving till Tuesday, so it doesn't matter. We cut to poolside where Bobo is sneaks in and he's hiding behind like a planter or something, and he says like, "Get ready for the greatest show on earth."
And
This movie is filled with puns. It's
Well,
bad lines.
Yeah, I like puns. I don't mind puns, but I got a problem right off the bat when I see like
Okay.
what's happening. Like I thought maybe there'd be an adjustment because the opening scene, you have the stationary doll, he shoots himself in the head, blood splatters on it, and then it's like, okay, well you're just kind of keeping that theme of the doll. This doll doesn't do a fucking thing.
No, it does not.
Doesn't do a goddamn thing.
Not at
no
all.
animatronics, no. You know, I thought maybe there was a little bit of hope in the opening scene when its eyes glue.
Yeah,
started
that's the
glow
best
green.
effect they do
That's
with the
the
clown.
only computer graphic. That's the only special effect, like computer graphic special effect in the entire movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, the clown effects. I had a bunch of clowns in there. They're awful.
It's just. Oh, I can't.
It's basically just a guy holding the doll off camera, like by the feet, and just like
Wiggling
wiggling
it.
back and
Yeah.
forth.
That's it. Fuck.
So now we meet Kitty, who is sunbathing poolside, and Nina, who's like the cute bookworm nerdy girl. Vicky gives Kitty some shit for sunbathing, and Nina shit for like reading Lady Chatterley's Lover.
You got a
which
thing for Nina?
I did kind of think. I like
Knew it.
Nina.
Knew it. I know your type. I was like, yeah, this is Marshall's girl. Yeah.
Which Vicky calls porn. Oh, and Vicky also during this makes a Britney Spears "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time" reference, which I find very odd and dated for a movie that was made and released in 15, came out in 2016. I mean, that's 19 years after that was a hit song.
Whoa. 19 years?
19 years. That came out in 1998. I did the research on that.
Fuck, I'm old.
Yeah. 19 years after the song came out, they're
Well,
making
Britney Spears is still relevant. She's
a
still
ish. But
yeah.
that song is like, it's just a weird thing to like for this 19 years after to make reference that song.
19 years.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hell. Ugh.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, we're coming up on our 20th high school reunion like next year, dude.
Okay.
So,
That song is old enough to fucking vote.
yeah.
Go off into war for its country and
Yeah.
die.
So, we already talked about. I like Nina. I also like the way that the actor Alexia Quinn portrays her and delivers the line. I thought she did a really good job.
I
As
agree.
Nina.
Yeah, because she's bookwormy. She's got a little stutter, but not bad. Not like
It's not even, I didn't even call it.
but
Sorry,
it
it's
was
more like
a nervous
it's
kind
like,
of.
yeah, like nervous, kind of like, ha, like yeah, it's. I really like Nina in this movie. And also all these girls look great in their bikinis. They're all super hot with great bodies. It doesn't matter.
Kitty girl. Woo.
Yeah.
Meow.
After some more dialogue spiced with cheesy puns and one-liners from Bobo, we cut to one of the bedrooms in the house. This is where we meet Allie, who turns out to be really into black magic and looks like she's 36. And maybe that's because Jessica Morris was 36 when she shot this movie.
Yeah.
So we have a 36-year-old playing basically a 21-year-old who doesn't quite look that. I mean, she still looks good, but you can tell
She looks great for a 36-year-old.
Yeah, but she's not.
She's not a sorority babe.
No, she should be like the house mom at this
Yeah,
point.
she's not a sorority babe.
So she's like sitting in her room. She's got a pentagram on the floor, and the room's all lit in candles. And she's reading a book about how to summon like some demon mother or something like that. In comes Fawn, and who's like, "Oh, like, hey, Allie, what you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm just trying to contact the Dark Lord to release me from this black hell known as my life. Any luck and rock my world." And so basically, Allie wants Satan to fuck her or something,
Or kill her.
Or
Or,
kill her.
make her strong.
or who knows what she wants.
She's just very aloof about the whole black magic thing.
Yeah, she is. She's
You know.
which in a way it kind of grows. I mean,
It's,
she's
it's
like,
kind of fun.
yeah, it is. It's fun and
'Cause
light.
she doesn't take it too seriously. It
No,
seems.
she really doesn't.
Yeah.
No. So Fawn wants to know if Allie is planning on leaving for spring break or if she's like staying in the house. You know what's going on. And then Allie, I think, jokingly says it depends on how the ritual turns out. If it works, she'll be infused with immense power, and she'll go on a little romp of destruction around Eastern Europe and maybe destroy England. I don't know. I'm keeping my options open. That's the
Yeah.
response. So I'm like, it's kind of fun.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of fun. So they talk some more, and we learn that all this, this black magic is all because Allie just apparently got dumped, supposedly
By Cliff.
by Cliff. Back outside, Richard now shows up, cannonballing into the pool. The water gets on Kitty, who gets upset. She goes upstairs and leaves because she doesn't want the chemicals of the chlorine on her skin.
Yeah, so and they even mentioned this too. The girl who's soaking up the direct rays is worried about her skin getting touched with chemicals from chlorine.
Yes.
And they do make kind of like, what do you do? You're in the sun, directly in the heat, like the UV rays.
Yeah.
And now you're worried about chlorine. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I agree. So Bobo's still watching from behind the planter. Vicky rips off Richard's swim trunks, and they like, whatever. Seeing this,
They're playing flirty, whatever. Yeah.
yeah, and again, so Bobo again says, "Clown around, huh? I'll show you how it's really done later. But first," and then the camera pans over to Nina, still reading her book. He runs underneath her feet. She feels it. She looks down, but he's gone,
He's
and
long
Bobo like
gone.
runs for the front door or something. Excuse me. I apologize for that. Nina gets up as Vicky tosses Richard's swim trunks onto one of the poolside loungers, and this again, I like a little Nina scene here. Richard's like, "Hey, Nina, can you throw us back?" And Vicky's like, "Don't you dare throw him back." So Richard's like, "Fine, but I'm not gonna be doing one naked." He goes after Vicky to rip off her swimsuit. And once this is weird though, it's really odd. But as soon as Richard turns away from Nina, she quickly grabs his trunks and smells them, and then puts them back and scurries off like a little child, which is just really fucking weird to me because most you know about like the panty sniffers out there, and which are like 99% guys, you know, all sniffing panties and all that who are into that. But I've never heard of a girl who's like into sniffing dudes' swim trunks.
Hey, man, maybe people are into that kind of like, you know, funky nutsack smell.
I guess I'm sure there's somebody out there. It's like a weird role reversal type thing.
Well, when I went to Thailand and I was dating my wife,
Thailand don't count. Thailand's just a bunch
no.
craziness.
I wore a pair like my pajamas. I gave them to Melissa, and she said that she liked wearing them when I was gone because she could still smell me. So I don't know. That's a little different.
I get that girls wearing guys' shirts because they smell like them, but I don't see your wife like inhaling deeply from the crotch of your pants.
God, if she does, I really have to reconsider what's happening with my life. Nah, that's fine.
So
she can sniff my pants.
So
I don't wear panties, but
what's happening?
Whatever.
What's happening?
The male equivalent.
So we go back to Fawn and Allie. They're still talking in Allie's room, and this leads to a lesbian kiss that freaks Fawn out. She rushes out of the room, bumps into Kitty in her towel, and Kitty tells her that the shower isn't working properly again, so she has to take a bath, blah, blah, blah. It's just setting up shit. Bobo runs up the stairs, but really more like he struggles. This is the one time we see like the camera work doesn't flow here, because the camera is like a first person view and it's zooming real quickly. But then when we see Bobo on the stairs, he's like struggling to climb up just one stair. But then the POV shot, it's like zooming along.
Mm-hmm. And the entire time, these are long scenes. These are like, it's like a minute long shot of seeing Bobo walk around.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of
there's
a
lot
so
of filler.
much. Oh my God! And while he's walking and running around, it's the same fucking sounds over again. He's going, ooh, ha, ha,
Yeah.
ooh, ha, ha, ha.
Yes, it is.
Just,
it's annoying as hell.
oh, I wanted to fucking stab my ears. I
Yeah.
wanted to shove things into my whatever was nearest, just kill myself.
No, I 100% agree with you on that.
Oh.
The sounds were just basically looped over and over again. Really annoying. And then also, if you think about it, this guy's trying to be sneaky around to kill him. Going around, running around laughing like a chimp or something, like, is kind of blows your cover.
And it's constant throughout the whole movie.
It is constant.
Whenever they're doing a POV shot, which they do a lot of.
Like I said, I think they just need filler. Like, it was, went down, okay, let's throw more Bobo POV around. So yeah. Anyway, so we are talking about moving on. He finally reaches the top and he heads into the bathroom. And God Almighty, we've already talked about this. The effects are so bad of him moving around and walking. I mean, it's downright childish. And all I can do, all I did at this point was just basically face palm and laugh, because I was like, all right, this is what we're in for.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
All right,
this is it.
So Allie pops into the bathroom saying she needs to use it. He's like, use the one downstairs. Allie leaves. Kitty notices that the Bobo doll standing in the sink, and even though Kitty just saw Allie enter and leave, who clearly didn't have anything with her, she's like, "Oh, Allie, you left your clown doll." I'm like, really? Come, like, you? It's just a lame writing excuse. Like, you clearly know she didn't have a clown doll, and it wasn't there when you came into the bathroom.
Right?
Like, really, bitch? Like,
God damn it!
Yeah. But she trails off. She goes over to picks it up. She pushes his red button, and Bobo Roberts is like, "Let's play." He's like, "Oh, play with yourself. I'm busy." He sets him down on the counter next to a hair dryer. Goes into her bath, get her bath ready. Bobo Roberts says some more pervy lines about Kitty. Kitty drops down, gets in the tub, but unfortunately, there's no nudity in this movie. You don't get to see anything.
Yes,
which is very disappointing.
Is no nudity.
There's no. Basically, the best eye candy
in
is the girls.
Sorority Slaughterhouse.
I know. Like, you think this would be just filled with tits and stuff.
Let me say it again. For those of you who may not have heard it, there's no nudity, no boobs, no butts, not even side boob.
I was just about to say that. Not even side boob.
Nothing. In Sorority Slaughterhouse, rated R.
Yep.
The
best
you. God damn it. That's so frustrating.
The best you get is the girls in their bikinis, which they look great in, but that's all.
God.
No, I agree with you. Like, come on, there should be boobs in this.
God damn it, guys. Come on.
So we cut to Fawn meeting Marcus outside. He pulls up. They chat. They kiss a bit. That's it. It's just a introduction to Marcus. Back in the bathroom, Kitty's relaxing in her bathtub while Bobo Roberts watches and makes like lustful.
Like, how many times did you hear this sound?
Ooh. Yeah.
Over and over. Ooh. Oh, it's like they had it. Like they had that one sample. It wasn't like him going ooh, it's ooh, and you hear it all throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it really bothered me.
I can see that. So Bobo tries to throw the hairdryer into the tub, but the cord isn't long enough and it lands harmlessly on the floor. But hearing the crash, Kitty sits up, looks around, and Bobo like scurries like to hide underneath like the ledge of the tub, like, out below her eyesight.
She's right. I mean, the tub and the vanity is maybe 3 feet apart.
If that, yeah, it's really close together.
Even if the clown's gone and ran away, wouldn't you be like, how the fuck did the goddamn hairdryer wind up on the floor?
Yeah.
It doesn't just jump off.
Nope.
Plus, if he was trying to kill her, he'd have to turn it on to have her kill her. Because if it was off, it'd just go bloop, and that's it. You know, you gotta turn that shit on, man.
That's a good point. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that. I was like, oh, it's plugged in, so, I wasn't thinking about if it was turned on or off. Like, as long as it's plugged in, I guess, but whatever.
But still, I mean, it's she just kind of goes, huh, whatever, and goes
Yeah,
back to.
I do agree.
Yeah.
Your point about it, okay.
Mhm.
And that's like, maybe, it's like, okay, the story house is haunted. Oh, it's just our ghost. He's throwing shit around. We're used to it.
And she keeps putting her legs in the air.
Oh,
over.
oh my God, that's my next note. That's my next note. I have that. Oh my God.
You run with it, baby. Go with
Yeah,
it.
I forget where it is in here, but I did that, and there was so notes because the entire bath, all she's doing is like sticking her leg like straight up in the air, like
Being sexy,
and
putting her.
just rubbing her leg up and down.
It's like, oh yeah,
Like
sexy
she's
leg.
not even like a loofah or a water.
No.
She's just like rubbing her leg,
and then
up
she'll
and
put
down.
one down and throw the other one up. Holy cow,
Oh, so
that's the sexiest bath.
yeah, no, there you shove her rubbing her legs. Yeah, she loves her legs. So the hairdryer didn't work. So Bobo now picks up a shaving razor, drops it in the bath, but she instantly finds it and puts it aside. Like there's like
I didn't understand that. I didn't get it either. So
don't
then he
know.
grabs like a fucking Venus razor. Or
yeah,
whatever,
basically a Venus. That's a great.
and he
Yeah.
tosses it in the tub where it goes pladoop.
Yeah.
And she goes, "What's that?" Picks it up. It's like, "Ow!" I guess she cut herself. Wouldn't
She
you also
didn't even cut herself. She just picked it up. There was no.
Wouldn't you also be alarmed that all of a sudden something flew into your bathtub?
Well, I didn't have much problem with that because the razor was on like the corner of the tub, like right there. And I
guess,
could say
yeah.
maybe it slides in on its own. It's happened. But I do agree with the fact that she picks up, sets aside immediately, and I swear the only reason this even happens is to set up this stupid line about Bobo saying, "Oh, that could have been a nasty prick, but not as nasty as me."
That's the only.
yeah.
It's to set up
that
a
line.
shitty line.
That's exactly what it's the only thing I think of because there's no point.
You're right.
Other
Yeah.
than just to set that line up. So Kitty then covers her face with a washcloth. She lays back down. Bobo scampers over to the cabinet under the sink and gets out a bottle of Drano, or in this case, Drainy. And
which
makes
is
it,
clearly a Drano
Yeah.
bottle with a Y taped over the O.
it's not even a Y because if you look at it, they taped over everything except the DR. Because the A has one of those like that, I forget what it's called, but that line above it. So it would be pronounced Dranny, but it's got that that weird grammar thing, so it'd be Drainy. But yeah, but you can clearly see the outline of the sticker they just slapped on this bottle. It's really funny looking at how cheap this thing looks.
It's ridiculous.
So Bobo sneaks up to Kitty, pours the Drainy down her open mouth. She chokes and gags, tries to struggle. The best part is all being that you can tell that she's doing all the work, holding the bottle and the Bobo clown in her hand to make it look like he's doing this, but in reality, she's basically just killing herself.
This is one of the worst deaths. We've seen a lot of bad deaths. This one was in competition.
Really?
Oh, it's a strong competitor.
That's fucking better.
This one's going to the championship rounds. It's a top 5 contender. God damn, it's bad.
It is pretty bad.
And okay, how much does Bobo weigh?
Well, he's a 12-inch clown doll, so I'm guessing maybe a pound.
Right?
Yeah.
Hauling around an 80-ounce.
Yeah, the things Bobo was able to pick up and lift and use are it would be like an ant. Like he's got the strength of an ant. Could
Yeah.
just pick up things like 5 times his weight and size, just like flings them around.
Because it even showed it was an 80-ounce bottle,
Did it say 80 ounces?
80 ounces on it.
I didn't see that, but that's hilarious.
which has got to be like around 5 pounds.
Probably, yeah.
God damn it.
Look. So after she's finally dead, Bobo Roberts spurts out another one liner. Now that's what I call a clean kill. He then rushes off. The camera focuses on the bottle of Drainy on the tub. Now, there is something majorly off about this shot that I noticed. Now, first of all, the tub was completely full of water and when she was killed, and now it's nearly completely drained of water. So I don't know how that happened. Plus, there's blood all along the corners of the tub, even though there is zero blood in the kill itself. There's no blood in the scene at all. And oh yeah, Kitty's body has also magically disappeared. The body's gone. Like, where the hell did the body go? So, back outside, both Marcus and Richard are sitting on the edge of the hot tub, drinking beer with Vicky in between. They're both, like, flirting with her. Now, and this is weird, because Marcus is supposed to be Fawn's boyfriend, but he's, like, clearly, like, oogling. He's staring right at Vicky's tits. I mean, straight up, he's flirting with her. Vicky's loving the double attention. She's all about it. Meanwhile, Fawn's laying out. Doesn't seem to care about this happening at all, even though she's clearly
not too worried about it.
Yeah. And Nina's also checking out the guys, all this stuff. So Fawn goes over to talk to Nina about how easy it is to get a guide and to get them to do whatever you want them to do. During this conversation, Allie shows up in the background, just kind of walking around, doing whatever. Nina leaves to go basically write out her horniness. Like, she's like, I gotta go. I have to go write. I
got some inspiration.
Yeah. And then also Fawn and Marcus also head inside. This takes us back to Boba, who's wandering around the house as Nina enters her bedroom, which is the size of a fucking penthouse suite.
Man, she's balling.
I have seen apartments smaller than this bedroom. I mean, it's insane. There's no fucking way this room would be in a sorority house. And even if it was, there's no way that would be her. She'd be sharing that with like 3 or 4 other girls.
It's
in
massive.
A suite. It is gigantic. So Nina, like, she pulls out this like headset with a microphone on and begins like typing on her laptop, and then she starts spying out the window on Vicky and Richard making out on like a lounger by the pool. Bobo enters the room, scurries over to a pile of stuffed animals and pulls the old like E.T. hiding. Yeah, the E.T. trick. Nina grabs her binoculars to get an even better view of the makeout session.
Which are massive binoculars.
They're huge.
Like, what is she good?
They're like tactical. Like, I don't know who would use these. They're so.
They're like going hunting.
They're like mini Hubble telescopes. Like, they're like you could see fucking Saturn with these things.
These things are gigantic.
So she starts dictating into her headset like basically like a 50 Shades of Grey like novel. And she's almost getting herself off. Like, she's turning herself on while she's talking. She decides to take a break, and she pulls out her trusty vibrator Max.
Which, this is a second movie recently where we've had a large pink dildo. Our vibrator, yeah.
We've had like 3 or 4 movies feature with
we had Spirit Camp.
Spirit Camp had
recently.
One? Okay, recently.
Recent, yeah.
Okay, I thought, okay. Yeah, this one's more vibrator-esque, not a giant fleshy dildo looking thing.
That Spirit Camp thing, whoa.
That thing was, good God. So, she gets under sheets and she starts going to town on herself. Bobo creeps up onto the bed. This whole time, everything she's saying is still being picked up by her.
The dictation software, yeah. So like everything she's saying is typing on the screen.
It's coming up on the screen, yeah. So, her batteries die. She's like, no, not now. She sits up from under sheets and notices Bobo standing on her laptop. And again, here's another example
of how... where did you come from?
Why, not nearly enough confused or inquisitive or scared. Like, how the hell this clown doll that's obviously not hers just shows up in her room, on her bed, out of nowhere. In like the 20 seconds she was under the sheets masturbating. It's just...
Yeah.
Bobo was like, are you having fun yet? And looking at Nina,
you do a pretty good Bobo.
Thank you.
I don't know if that's something you should be proud of, but
so,
you sound like a 12-inch doll.
So Nina's looking at Bobo, and like as he's talking, he's like, I have an idea. She picks him up to start looking for like Bobo's battery slot.
Yeah, which is pretty funny.
And I found this to be funny actually. And Bobo's like, hey, stop that! Don't touch me there. And Nina begins to suspect that Bobo's not your ordinary clown doll now. And he tells that he's Bobo the clown, and I can rock your world. And then he starts making like these buzzing noises with his, and he's like,
yeah,
I can't do them. And so Nina smiles and giggles at this. She picks him back up and then has another idea.
Instead of being terrified
Yeah.
by the fact that this clown is
sentient.
sentient
Being.
is basically saying, I'm gonna I can fuck you. All right.
So she picks it back up and uses
Instead
Bobo.
of being terrified, she gets turned on.
Yeah, she uses Bobo as a vibrator. She's moaning, yelling out that this clown's the best toy ever.
I tingle all over.
And again, this is all being picked up on our computer. Now, Bobo decides to kick up the power, and at first Nina's loving it. She's like, oh yeah, but then it becomes a bit too much for her. And also, I think Bobo goes for her ass, because she says, hey Bobo, where are you going? And that's when we start hearing these like gurgling, struggling noises. And the sheets get pulled down a bit, and we see Nina flop back, dying, like lies on the bed with blood pouring out of her mouth. Bobo speaks into the headset. He's saying, shocking folks, kids don't try this at home. And again, I'm thinking, is that supposed to be like a reference to like the Shocker? Like Shocker folk? And then she says, where you going, Bobo? And then he says, shocking. I'm like, I think Bobo went up that ass. I think he went up the ass.
That's a bold move, Bobo. But still, this death is dog shit. Also, I mean, you see him, like, it's funny, if they just would have left it under the sheets, I would have been probably okay with it. But they kept cutting to Bobo, just kind of wiggling back and forth on the screen.
Yeah, and
like,
he's clearly under a sheet.
With no Nina body part, not even a leg or anything. It's just him wiggling back and forth.
I have a big comment on that at the end of the movie. We're gonna talk about that. But yeah, you bring it up now. It's great. This happens a lot. Like close-up Bobos are like in a whole other like time and dimension than what the rest of the world is going on at the same time.
Right? It's like it doesn't match up.
So Bobo, he leaves the room, heads down the hallway. We cut the more of that.
Just
Fawn and Marcus they're talking in like the living room, and we find out that Dean Whitman apparently has been bothering Fawn for a while, like he's been on her case for something. But she tells Marcus that Whitman's not only been he's not been getting on her case so much, but the whole sorority as well. That he has issues with the whole outhouse, blah blah blah. But she's like,
outhouse.
I said whole house.
Okay, sound like outhouse.
And but she's like, hey, he's calmed down a few weeks. It's been all right for the last few weeks. So we just learned that there's a history there, some in the past. Marcus asks, hey, how'd your hair? And she says, I don't want to talk about Whitman or school anymore. She changed the subject, trying to maybe like a sea of doubt or something's going on. They talk some more, and I have to say that good fucking Lord, Marcus acting is fucking awful. Like, by far, he's the worst in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He makes all the girls in this movie look like Meryl Streep. And now that I think about it, I think that's why they hired him, so everyone else will look good by comparison.
Well, they did.
Because I hate Marcus so much in this movie. I can't stand him.
I thought he was a nice guy, at least. There's nothing against the guy. He's just a pretty face, just a dope.
Yeah. So, I hate him so. I hate him.
He's a bimbo. He's a bimbo. He's a male bimbo.
Well, Richard is more the male bimbo kind.
No, but Rich has got more wit. He's funnier.
Richard actually is the better character.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the so much smaller part, but he's by far the much better character and a better actor.
By far, yeah.
And this guy's Richard, the guy who plays Richard. This was his very first movie. This was his debut. While Marcus had a few other things to his name, nothing really, barely anything much, but not his first rodeo, and he was awful. So anyway, finally the scene ends. We go back to Bobo scampering around the house along another shot, some tropical island beach coastline, and we go back to Vicky and Richard, who are still making out on the poolside lounger.
They've been slowly making out for a long time.
Yeah, if you think about how much time passes through this, they make out for like probably a good 30-40 minutes on this lounger.
She's like still in that same pose.
Yeah. We see Allie approach and interrupt the makeout session. Richard leaves to go pee, and Vicky and Allie exchange some catty words back and forth. Ending with Allie teasing Vicky that she's going to put a curse on her boobs, which Vicky, of course, takes offense to, saying, you better not, these boobs are perfect as is, don't you dare. If you so much as tweak a nipple, I'll bury you. Which I'm like, I kind of enjoyed that. So Richard then enters the bathroom where Kitty was killed. Very important fact. Kitty was killed because we can clearly see the hairdryer still on the floor.
Yeah.
But, there's no blood on the sink.
And
no
the body
body,
obviously
no body,
disappeared.
And
so.
there's no water in the tub. So he finds Bobo in the sink with water dripping on him. Richard picks him up, dries him off, and Bobo, he says some more stupid lines.
Which he's pushing the button. He thinks it's funny.
Yeah. Richard carries him over and places him on the tank of the toilet while he pees. Bobo spouts off some more sarcasm stuff.
I don't need to see this.
Yeah,
that's it.
Now, in the kitchen, Fawn's kind of a cucumber while talking to Marcus, and God, this scene sucks so bad. Marcus, again, he just ruins everything he's into for me. Like, every time Marcus is on screen, I just was like, no.
I don't have a problem with him. He's like a dumb Labrador. You're just
He's so boring and monotone. He's trying to do this sexy whisper with every single line he talks. He's like, well, I was just gonna do that for you. He's like, what are you talking about? Oh, there's a killer clown. Okay, whatever you say, baby. Like it's awful.
There's a killer clown. Whatever you say, baby.
It's so awful. I hate him. So anyway, Richard startles Vicky with Bobo. And the best thing about this scene is when Richard tells Vicky that Bobo is pretty funny because when he pushes button, he doesn't just tell jokes, he just complains. Which I think, all right. Vicky grabs Bobo, pushes button, nothing happens, so she pushes it 7 more times. Finally, Bobo says, I'm Bobo the Clown, and I'm gonna kill you! So Vicky tosses Bobo. Richard calms her down by just kissing her. She's like,
sure.
Come on, baby, let's just go back to making out.
Calm down.
Yeah. And I will say that Richard and Vicky's acting is not as bad. They both those characters have their moments.
They have some decent chemistry.
Yeah.
You can tell that it seems, at least, that they have been a couple. Or like I thought they played off each other very well.
No, I think I would say so too. And like the girl who plays Vicky, what's her name? Vicky. Kelly Seymour. This is like only her second movie. It might have been her first. I don't know, but she's only done 2 things. But I'd like to see some more of her in these type of indie horror roles. I thought she did fine for that type of character, and she looks good. So the conversation goes back to Allie. Richard tells Vicky that he thinks Allie wants to be with her, and that Allie's into girls. Again, they just end up kissing after this. And they go back to Allie.
They solve everything through kissing.
Yeah, and they talk about Allie's boob curse and Vicky's tits. Vicky invites Richard to have his way with her perfect boobs. So while Richard is kissing on her chest, Bobo comes up from behind, hits him over the head with a bat, knocking him out cold.
A baseball bat coming out of basically nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah, because sorority girls just have baseball bats.
Sure.
Lying around. So Vicky's like, come on, don't just lay there, fondle or suckle or something.
Do something with him.
Yeah. And Richard limps by, just kind of rolls off. Vicky falls on the ground. And that's when Bobo wraps one of those resistance exercise bands.
I thought it was a jump rope.
No, it's like one of those elastic bands, stretch bands, around Vicky's neck, and he uses it to choke her to death.
And again,
it's
a horrible death scene.
Oh, it is. It's awful. It's just like
you can
kitties.
She's got her hands underneath. So if you want to be, let's unpack this a little bit. So she's got her hands underneath it, so she's clearly holding it off of her throat.
Yeah.
So she's not being strangled. Then they do a cut scene to show Bobo kind of, the stationary fucking doll.
Just standing there holding
with
the ends.
2 of the ends placed in its hand while she struggled, where there's clearly slack.
Yes, that's my biggest thing. You can see how loose the score is, so it's not strangling her at all.
And let's go with a little bit of physics. How about you just stand the fuck up because it weighs about a pound?
Yeah.
God damn it.
The other thing is...
Doesn't matter how hard he's pulling.
No.
All you have to do is stand up.
Or just roll to the side. I mean, yeah. The other thing is, these elastic bands stretch. If you already have your hand between that and your throat, just pull out, and just pull it off your neck. The thing stretches. There's so many ways she can get out.
So bad.
Yeah, to me, this was worse than the bathroom kill.
They're all horrible.
Eventually, Vicky finally dies. Bobo then picks up a handheld air pump, the kind you would use to inflate a ball or a balloon with, and he turns his attention to Richard. Bobo slides a balloon down Richard's throat, which, again, why there's a balloon just lying around?
Balloons around.
With the other end attached to the pump. Bobo, I almost said Bilbo. Bobo uses the pump to inflate the balloon, of course, causing it to inflate in his throat and choke, and he suffocates to death.
Again, that doesn't make any sense because you could just bite it, or it'd pop because you're pulling up so much,
Or obviously, since
or pull it out of your
Yeah,
mouth.
you're awake. You're not restrained. Just pull it out.
He's a in shape dude. I mean,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's
Damn
this.
it.
Now I think about this, might be the worst one because he's a dude just lying there taking it. All you have to do is one, I don't know, just knock the clown away with your. He's not restrained in any way, shape. If he's just laying there on the ground, he could smack Bobo away, pick him up, throw him over the fence, whatever, pull the balloon out, do anything. He just takes it like a bitch and dies. Which
bad.
sets up to me the worst line in the movie, in my opinion, which Bobo is saying, "What kind of balloon animal are you? You're a dying mammal." Like, God, do I hate it. It's the stupidest line. Like, these guys are trying way too hard to write like funny, witty stuff, and it's awful.
That was bad. Yeah,
It's so
dying
bad.
Mammal.
And he laughs like it's the funniest thing ever. So, now this is where I want to come back to this. The note you're talking about how Bobo and Nina's death was under the sheets and didn't look like, because every close up of Bobo during the death scene so far was basically shot in front of like the same like beige background.
Yeah.
And I first noticed it, like I said, during Nina's kill, when he's supposed to be under the pink sheets, but we keep seeing from this beige wall. But it's even more noticeable now here because all this is supposed to be happening outdoors
Outside.
by a pool on a bright blue sky, nature, a really picturesque area. But all we see is Bobo in front of a beige wall, and then it cuts away to like scenes like the actor poolside, outdoors, bright and sunny, and then back to Bobo in front of this wall. It's just off. Like, you couldn't put the clown outside to do this. Like, it's how hard would that have been just to film him outside? So, and it also how he managed, like, the same thing. He used that Drano bottle, and this pump, which is twice his size, is beyond me. Like, it's just the pump
We're
is
breaking down logistics
Yeah.
of a 12-inch killing clown. Using a pump to pump a balloon
Not a guy.
into a guy's mouth. Fuck. What am I doing with my life?
So we jump to Allie, who's in her room reading some old book, which I guess is supposed to be like a grimoire or something. And she hears the sounds of Fawn getting laid through the walls. And so it's Allie starts thinking, like, how can I stop this? I don't want to hear this anymore. What can I do? And she settles on a transfer of emotion spell. Allie says like a little rhyme, and then she starts moaning in pleasure because I guess she can now feel what Fawn feels.
So just like that, boom,
Boom.
she can do spells.
Yeah. Well,
Hey guys, guess what? She can do spells. Like
Yeah.
for real, do spells.
she's the witch.
She
now.
can really do spells.
Yeah, a real.
Hold on. Before she was just the quirky, dark kind of character.
Yeah.
Nah, she's a fucking witch.
Burn the witch.
God damn it.
But this works two ways now. So since she wants this to stop, she kicks her foot up against a nightstand, and Fawn's like, "Ow, what was that?" So you now see they have this physical link between them, so they can feel
So
each
whatever
other.
happens to one
The
happens
other-
to the
yes.
other. Kind of like the twins from Cobra and
I
G.I.
just
Joe.
say G.I. Joe. Yes,
Yeah.
I wish I couldn't think of their names, but it's the same thing.
Salazar twins
The
or
same-
Lazar,
yeah.
something like that. God damn, those guys were cool.
I love those two.
The only thing you could tell them apart was one had a big scar on his face.
And they wore their shoulder pads on opposite shoulders.
Oh yeah, that's
They had like a metal shoulder. One's on the left, the other's on the right.
And they'd finish each other's sentences.
Yes, and the one had this car. I love those two twins. I had both those twins. I loved them.
They were
And they had
badass.
like this. They had like the little ATV 4-wheel they rode on. It had like a bazooka on the side of it. It was awesome. I'm
Man,
like,
let's not talk about that movie. Let's talk more about G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. I'm going to dig them up right now. So, goddamn.
I'd rather talk about G.I. Joe.
So, anyway, Allie's spell seems to work. They end up having, and Allie heads down the stairs as the phone rings. She answers. It's someone looking for Fawn. And Allie tells them that Fawn is busy, and then bites her arm, and we hear Fawn again scream out, like, "Hey, you bit me!" And whoever on the other end tells Allie about Dean Whitman. Now, Allie's worried and surprised about this. She asks if they found anything else in the office. after hearing whatever it was that they tell her, she quickly gets off the phone, like really worried now, like, like, oh shit, something's wrong. So she heads outside and finds the dead bodies of Vicky and Richard. Up pops Bobo, saying, "There you are, Dimpleface. I've been looking everywhere for you." And so now we know that it was Allie that was banging Whitman because he called the girl on the phone Dimpleface earlier. Allie turns and runs back inside. Bobo follows after. Now, this is another little side rant. I have to get this off my chest. It's about the sorority house again. I've already said there's no way that this mansion would ever be a sorority house in the first place, but the movie makers, if they're going to insist on using it, they could at least make some attempt to make it look like an actual sorority house, but they don't. They make zero effort in the fact. There's no Greek letters on the house or inside. There's no Greek letters anywhere in this movie, which is bullshit.
Point, yeah.
Because Greek people, Greek, sorority girls love wearing their letters. You're proud of your house. You wear your letters all the time. The girls never wear them, so that's bullshit. Also, the house has no composite pictures of the sorority girls together, which is another big thing that lines the walls of Greek
Class of
houses.
69 or something like that.
Yeah. And so anything that you would find in a real sorority house does not exist in this movie. Like they made no attempt to make this look like a real
wherever they were
sorority
renting this out for the day or two, they were just like, "Don't you fucking touch a thing."
Yeah, I think that's basically what happened. So anyway, Allie goes around locking all the doors and runs upstairs. But apparently she forgot to unlock the front door when she ran into it because Bobo just walks right in the front door as Allie just, slammed it in his face but didn't lock it, and which is just fucking retarded. So she's upstairs. She knocks on Fawn's door. Fawn's still getting laid, but yells at she's like, I'm packing. So instead of coming, so like whatever. She tries to get an open door. Mark's like, go get somebody else. We're busy. So she goes to Nina's room, finds Nina dead in the bed, rushes to the bathroom and sees the pool of blood on the and the bottle of Drainy, and which is another continuity we've already talked about. Because
wasn't there before.
Yeah, when Richard entered the very same bathroom, all that was gone. It was cleaned up, nothing there. But now the blood and the bottle are back.
But no body.
No body's still there. What the fuck?
Kitty's like, I gotta go. I ain't got time for this shit. Maybe she didn't die. Maybe she's like, oh, gross. I gotta wash this out. Ew.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
she
can't
didn't
go to the
die.
hospital.
Yeah.
Get my stomach pumped. So Allie races back to Fawn's room, bangs on the door, telling him that everyone's dead. They finally open the door, which is great because now I have to fucking listen to Marcus talk some more.
And he's in his underwear.
Yeah, he's so dreamy.
He's dreamy.
He has the stupidest tattoo. He's got a tattoo of like angel wings on his arm, and it says "chick" down the middle of it. Not Chico or Chic, just Chick. CHIC.
Are you sure it's a chic? Or maybe he spelled it wrong.
Maybe, but it was chick. I'm like, really? Like, it's like angel wings. You might as well just put the word girl down your side or something. Like, it was really weird. It was odd. So,
or maybe things he likes, like dick. I don't know. Sorry. I tried to make a joke.
So Allie fills him in on what happened. Marcus wants to see the bodies as proof, so Allie tells him where they are. He goes out to look for them. While he's gone, she tells him that Kitty's still in the bath, but we know that's not true because the body's fucking disappeared a long time ago.
Right.
So Allie tells Fawn about Whitman, that he killed himself, and now his spirit is transferred to this Bobo doll. Marcus has come back at this point. Marcus doesn't buy into this transference thing, so Allie tells him that transference spell work, and she can prove it.
She can prove it.
So what does she do? Okay, now it makes sense if she's like pinched her arm
or slapped yourself
in the face. No. Allie does the most insane thing possible. She takes off running full speed down the hall and runs head first into the fucking wall, knocking herself out cold. Fawn, of course, feels this pain, proving the point, but
why would you do that?
Why would,
You've already bitten yourself, kicked your foot. You can do something small that she would feel, that she'd know. Instead, you run head first as fast as you can, smashing your head into the wall.
Knocking yourself out, which my note here was that, makes yourself helpless while there's a killer clown doll who slaughtered all your sororities in the house, but you're going to knock yourself unconscious and just making yourself easy game.
Hey.
So, Fawn and Marcus are staying over Allie. They're talking, and one thing that's when they start thinking that Allie's the killer, and she's killed everyone, not the 12-inch clown doll. So they decide to lock Allie in her bedroom, which again is wrong and pissing me off because it wouldn't work because in any bedroom or bathroom door, yes, they lock, but they lock from the inside.
Right.
She could, so even if you lock the
open
door,
the
she
door.
just open it right up and come out. This is not like an old crazy house that has
Right.
like keys or a skeleton
Right.
key. She just opens the
Or
door.
there's not a padlock on the outside
No!
or anything.
It's
Jesus.
the stupidest thing. It's like, God damn it. So the two of them head downstairs to call for help, but of course the phone lines are dead.
This also bothered me too, is that they said, okay, who do you think's the killer? The person who's the crazy voodoo nut job who's discovered all the bodies, or this made up 12-inch doll? So they pretty much said there's no such thing. This doll thing's ridiculous. It's obviously Allie. She's the killer.
Yes.
They've quote unquote locked her in her room.
Yeah.
And now you think they'd be like, okay, she's locked in her room. We can now nonchalantly walk around and get a phone. And they're running around like there's still a murderer on the loose, even though they just said to themselves, she's the murderer. Why are they running around all frantic and being crazy?
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but
It's so weird. I
there's
was
a
like,
point
no,
to
that doesn't make sense. You know, there's this like false sense of urgency when you've already caught what you think is the killer.
Yeah, that's you know, I didn't think about that. But there's some validity to that.
Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't make sense.
So they enter the kitchen where they find their cell phones and soaking in a pot of water, so they're supposed to be ruined. In comes Bobo saying, "Now the fun really begins." He picks up a cream pie, which just happens to be sitting on the counter. But now I have to stop here and take a breath because what happens next is so utterly ridiculous. It's almost beyond work. Bobo throws the pie at Marcus, hitting him directly in the face with such force and power that it sends Marcus, who's like, he's like 6 something and like he's in shape, you know, pretty good sized guy.
He's about 180, 190.
Yeah, flying to the floor. And when they show Marcus, he is now covered in blood. Blood is pouring out from underneath the pie pan and down his chest. Fawn rushes over to him, trying to help him up, saying, "Come on, it was just a pie. It couldn't have hurt that much." Bobo chimes in, saying, "That ain't cherry." Fawn goes to remove the pie tin, which seems to be stuck to his face. She's eventually able to peel it off, and we see that the bottom of the pie tin is lined with spikes. And then Bobo makes another very dated 90s reference, late 90s reference, saying, "Hey, it's the first time a guy's been screwed by a pie," which is an obvious reference to Jason Biggs fucking the apple pie in American Pie.
Oh, yeah.
So we have two late, and again, it's really odd. Like, you're making such dated references. That's the first time a pie screwed a guy instead of a guy screwing a pie. You know, that's the joke there. So here's what I'm thinking at this point. That I think this movie was actually written way back in the late 90s, very early 2000s. And then it just sat on the shelf for years and years until it was finally made. But they just never went back and updated like the references or the script. And it's like, we're just going to shoot it as is.
You might be onto something there.
Because that's the only, because 2 late 90s references that are really outdated that not everybody is going to get. It's like the younger, I don't know how many people are like 15, 16, or, 18 nowadays are that familiar with American. Maybe the Britney Spears one because music kind of transpassage, but American Pie is very dated now.
Yeah,
like it's not.
yeah,
I don't think a lot of people are watching it anymore.
Like, oh, let's watch it. Even though we had we mentioned Stifler already once before.
But again, that was our generation.
Well, yeah, we graduated in '98, and that's when the movie came out, I believe.
99.
Yeah, 99. Yeah, 99. So yeah, right at the end of college, right at the beginning of college, end of high school.
Yeah.
Right, that target demographic, which is exactly the type of people who should be watching this movie.
Right? But the people watching this movie now were like, what? Barely, might not have been born yet when that movie came out. So
or
it's
just been born.
Just been born. Yeah. So anyway,
which makes sense because you just said Britney Spears' song is 19 years old, so they would be just being born.
Yeah. So Fawn flees, runs up the stairs. Bobo gives chase and even manages to briefly trip her on the stairs, but she gets away, runs into Allie's room, which is supposed to be locked. But she runs right in. So Allie is awake, and the two of them talk for a while about what's happening. Allie says that she can use her spells to stop Bobo Roberts, and also, lets it slide that this is all her fault in like this weird roundabout way. And a pissed off Fawn demands to know why and how. Give me the background. I want the whole story.
So here it all comes kind of full
This
circle.
is where we start getting a lot of backstory, a lot of talking. Allie tries to argue they don't have time for this, but Fawn's like, no, we have time for this. So that's a very strong door and a very tiny clown, a very tiny doll. You're spilling the beans. So the backstory we get as Allie goes into story mode is basically, she says that this all started last fall when Allie first pledged the house. And there's a prank where they stole Dean Whitman's car. Now, apparently, Whitman became suspicious of their house, and that's what led him to start harassing Fawn and giving her a hard time. So I'm guessing Fawn is maybe supposed to be like the president or somebody,
high-ranking,
or the pledge, the person in charge of pledge ships and Rush and all that, but more likely maybe the president. So now, according to Allie, she cast a tiny infatuation spell on herself, which led to Allie and Whitman's affair that had been going on for the last 3 months. So Allie then goes on to say that it was fun for a while, especially since the dean could alter transcripts and change grades, but it got old and she started developing feelings for somebody else. Now, she also goes on to say that tell Fawn that she ended the relationship yesterday, but breaking up with someone under a lush spell can be difficult. And like I said, this goes on for a while. She explains that Bobo doll, what the doll was originally for, and what was supposed to happen. So it breaks down like this. The Bobo doll and the transference spell cast on it were supposed to transfer Whitman's emotional attachment from Allie to the doll or break it off. Now, according to Allie, it would have taken about 10 minutes for that to be complete.
Basically a filter.
Yeah. After she broke up with him, it was after she broke up with him, it would take 10 minutes for the whole thing to process to work, but he didn't wait that long before he killed himself. And she said that lust can easily turn to rage, so when Whitman shot himself in that 10-minute window, his emotional state along with his spirit bound to the doll. And that's not all. Allie also comes up with the theory that Whitman kills when he is aroused because, again, his lust then turns to a blood rage. And she cites the examples of Kitty naked in the tub, Nina masturbating, and Vicky and Richard were making out right before they were all killed. Fawn blames Allie for all this, saying that saying that if she didn't fall for this Cliff guy, none of this would have happened. They confess that there was never a Cliff to begin with, that she is in love with Fawn, which is obvious. There's no surprise there. She tells Fawn that she fell for her first time she saw her, and that Fawn is the whole reason she even joined the story in the first place. Allie also goes on to say that the whole reason she cast a lust spell on Whitman in the first place was to help her.
Was to protect her.
Was to protect Allie, so Allie just wanted to get him off of Fawn's back. Still going on, Allie goes on to say that the sex spells are the only thing she's good at, and tells Fawn that she is beyond the Okay, let me start over. Allie tells Fawn that she is behind Fawn's erotic dreams and Fawn having like these random spontaneous orgasms that Fawn's been having, as well as turning Nina from a workaholic to a sexaholic because all she did was study. So she opened Nina's eyes and increased her libido. Jesus, there's so much backstory.
They really cram a lot of story into about like a 5-10 minute window.
Yeah.
Like, they cram
but
a lot in.
This is what finally explains everything.
Yeah,
so it's the one thing that's important to what plot there is to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, Fawn's like, I'm done. That's enough. She calls Allie a sexual predator, tries to calm her down, but Allie's like, hey, calm down. Allie starts touching her own boob, which then makes her, Fawn feel like somebody's touching her boobs and trying to like, hey, this feels nice, right?
Which is kind of funny.
It is kind of funny. Fawn fights off the pleasurable sensations, runs out of the room saying she'd be better off with the killer clown doll. Allie goes after her, begging her to come back to where it's safe so they can figure out how to break the spell. Not wanting anything to do with Allie, Fawn just rushes down the stairs. And now she ends up in like this workout/game room where she comes face to face with Bobo, who is now holding a knife. And holy shit, does this knife look shitty. I swear, I think it's just like a wooden knife they just painted really, really poorly.
And mind you, it's about the size of a parasol.
I think the knife from a Clue game would be more intimidating than this knife.
This thing was tiny.
So tiny.
It's this tiny knife that fits in the hand perfectly. If it's 12,
Perfectly.
so it's about an inch,
Yeah.
maybe, and that's being generous.
Yeah. Allie comes rushing in, telling Bobo to leave her alone. Bobo says that once Fawn's dead, that nothing will come between their love. At this point, though, I want to play the following dialogue exchange between the three of them, because I hate to kind of say it, but I actually like it, and it will come across better if you just hear it than if I try to recreate or explain it. So it's maybe about a minute long, but just enjoy it.
Let her rip.
Alone, you bastard.
You're mine, baby, and I'm not gonna let this talk get between our love.
If you kill her, I will never forgive you, and we are officially over.
I thought you said we were already over.
I was testing you to see how far you'd go for our love.
I killed myself and came back as a clown. Isn't that proof enough?
Yeah, it is. So just drop the knife, and I'll let you stick me with something else. No! Ew! If he sticks you, he sticks me. Well, that is quite a twisted three-way. Girl, clown doll. Kinky.
We have a problem here. The clown doll isn't exactly equipped with all the proper accessories.
Well, you're about 12 inches now. I can work with that. You keep your perverted fetishes away from me.
Yeah, so that's kind of I don't know. I just like that exchange. I think it's fun.
It's pretty funny.
I like the way the girls commit to this bit.
The seriousness that
but they seriously commit to it, but in such a tongue-in-cheek way that I don't know. I liked it. I found it entertaining.
And while we were listening to it, Marshall's mentioning, he's like, yeah, you can definitely hear the Friday 13th influence in the music.
Yeah, that dun 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 dun.
Yeah, it's like
Pete.
in that little in the background. God, what the hell am I doing? But it definitely, you can definitely hear it.
Yeah.
And that is the strongest part of the movie is the sound,
the music,
the score.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. So right after that clip ends, Bobo throws the tiny little knife at Allie, hits her square in the chest, like right in the heart.
No, it's not.
Fawn,
it's to the left.
Is it to it? I thought it was supposed to be like
misses her.
I think she kept moving her hand around because she's trying to hold this little thing.
Holding this tiny thing.
So Fawn is supposed to feel his pain too, and in a dying breath, Allie says to Fawn, "I'll always love you," which makes this death scene. And what makes this thing so damn funny is that Allie is trying to hold on this tiny knife to make it look like it's supposed to be out of her chest or heart, but her hand keeps kind of moving spots. And also keep in mind the knife is so short; it's about the size of a toothpick. And when Allie collapses and goes limp, so does the knife. I mean, seriously, the knife handle goes limp like it's made from taffy or something. You see it just
Is
flop.
this supposed to be a gag death? I mean, I don't know. It's got to be a gag death because
I thought so too. I'm like, okay, she's playing dead. She can come back. I thought the same thing.
But it's because it's a fucking tiny.
It wouldn't even pierce the skin, let alone the sternum or the bone.
And if it went all the way in, guess what? You'd be like, "Fuck, that hurts so bad."
It's like a large splinter. Yeah, I agree. It to me, it's the worst. We all say every time that's the worst death, but that's pretty damn bad. So once Allie is dead, Fawn no longer feels her pain, and the spell is broken. So now Fawn and Bobo have this exchange. And I also really like that I want to play for you guys because I like this one too.
You really like this part.
I did like this part. This is probably my favorite part of the movie. So this one's not as long, but I still think it's enjoyable. So take a listen.
You're the one behind all this. She ruined my life because of you.
No.
She never loved me. She was only using me to get to you.
No, I never loved her. She was crazy.
So you're saying I died for no reason whatsoever?
No one ever asked you to kill yourself or come back as a clown and murder 6 people. You cannot blame this on me.
I can do anything I want. I'm a 12-inch killer clown doll with no genitals and a huge sex drive. That would drive anyone psychotic.
That is a valid argument.
You're dead, sister.
I'm Bobo the Clown. Let's play.
So yeah, there's that one, and I just like I like the way that when you start listening to this dialogue, it's so ridiculous, but they're committing in such a way that they're like, we know this is bad and tongue in cheek, but we're making, they're taking it the right amount of seriousness. Eric Roberts is actually kind of nailing that part.
Nailing it.
Like, I love, like, I'm a tiny 12-inch doll with a huge sex drive and no genitalia. It's driving me insane. And then she's like, that is a valid point.
So there's good. It's pretty funny. It's a pretty good scene. It's not bad, but man, it really fucking hammers me and makes me upset that you have this fucking shitty doll that's not moving its lips or doing
the
anything.
lips don't even move. Yeah.
Nothing, and it's just this inanimate object that's having this sweet dialogue. It's like, God damn it, it just gets lost. It just, I think it could have been something, or I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
It would have been more. Fuck. I'll talk about it later. I'll get into it.
So Fawn runs out into the hallway, slamming the door behind her. But instead of continuing to run down the hallway for help, she slows down. She slows to a creep. She starts creeping down the hallway like she doesn't know where Bobo the killer clown is.
It's behind you, bitch.
Even though you're fucking kidding me because you just closed the door in his face right behind you. Bitch, you know where he is. Just run. So Bobo opens the door. Fawn hides,
Somehow.
and because he can't reach the door now, but he just magically opens doors. She hides in the side room behind a bookcase, which seems to work because Bobo does pass her by. She sneaks up and heads up the stairs, but is caught off by Bobo, who's now at the top of the stairs, and sprays her with a whole can of silly string, just slowing down a little bit. Again, this is just adding.
To which she acts like is pretty intense.
Yeah, I'm like, is this gonna be acidic silly string or something?
Like, what is this? Yeah.
No, it's just regular silly string. Yeah. So she enters the kitchen again. Again, I don't know, like the kitchen's on the second floor, but they go up and down stairs.
Yeah.
But
Are there two kitchens?
Yeah,
in here?
it's like there's what is the setup of this
because
house?
I'm like, okay, we're going back to the kitchen. Where's Michael's dead body? Or I mean, what's going on? No, are we on? Is this a second kitchen?
Yeah.
Well, it can't be the second kitchen because we'll talk about it later. But yeah, damn.
Yeah. So that's confusing. So she hides behind like the island, and she grabs like this large pot that's sitting on the floor,
which is just sitting on the floor
because everybody keeps their pots on the floor. And then she springs up suddenly from behind the island and like slams the pot upside down on the counter because she thinks she has Bobo trapped under it, which is really weird because. There's no indication that you don't hear him walking on the counter. You don't hear, she's just hiding. And all of a sudden, bam! I got you.
Yeah,
I was like,
it doesn't make any sense.
What do you got? You have So, yeah, but she quickly finds out she's wrong because Bobo leaps up onto her shoulder, holding a large Michael Myers style kitchen knife to her neck. Fawn begs for her life at first, but then she's like, you know what? I got an idea. She starts to seduce Bobo. She tells him that she can do more for him. She can do the same things that Allie could do and only much, much more. And she goes on to talk about how she's always had secret sex fantasies about clowns and how she thinks all kinds of giant dicks and all this stuff.
Because they got big old floppy shoes.
And big old baggy pants so the kids don't see their giant schlong flopping around. This leads to a lot of pun-filled dirty talk. Fawn offers to wash Bobo so she can get all the blood and dirt off of him and like seduce him with a rub down or something. So Bobo lets down his guard. She takes a knife from him, sets it on the counter, and carries him over to the sink where she begins to sensually like wash him under the faucet. And after a few moments of this, she suddenly flips. She flips him upside down and shoves him headfirst into the garbage disposal. Bobo screams as blood sprays out everywhere.
All over her,
her face is covered.
The camera's shaking all crazy.
Which
she's
I found odd
screaming.
because he's a doll. Why does a doll have blood in the first place?
I don't know, but she's screaming. She's like, ah!
Yeah, she's like, ah! Like, go to hell! Who's this? Who's laughing now?
And it's just spraying blood all over her face. The camera's
drenched.
shaking.
And then she's shoving him further down disposal, and it's just boom, blackout, roll credits. It's the most abrupt ending. Like. I honestly, when I started seeing the blood from, like, oh shit, I was thinking like there's gonna be a post-credit scene or something from like where now Roberts was possessing Fawn because that's how the blood transferred onto the doll, and the spell was spell was never really broken by Allie. That his blood transferred into Allie. I thought like, oh, that I'd actually be okay with that. That'd be
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but just ends abruptly.
Nope.
And
we're done.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. So yeah, that's Sorority Slaughterhouse. Let's move on to favorite kills.
There can be only one. Favorite kill?
Now there were only 6 girls murdered, or 6 people murdered, but
Which is a good amount.
a decent amount.
But it's just, they're all
But you also you have the Dean Whitman suicide and then the
dog
Dow
shit.
getting killed at the end.
Oh
So
my god.
yeah, it's basically
Best answer ever.
what do you got, Aaron?
So my favorite death is Bobo, because that's the end of the fucking movie. That's it.
Okay. I was actually at
But
one
I
point
mean, to also just to piggyback off of that, it was the most visceral. I mean, she's screaming. There's blood flying on it. She's like, ah, the camera shake. It's like intense. It's like, ah. So that was my favorite one. But yes, it was the end of the movie. Favorite kill.
All right, I will get. It's definitely the bloodiest. Like, there's not a whole lot of blood in this movie. Now originally I was gonna say Nina because she was one of my favorite characters, and I just like it was funny. You know, it was very similar to again. We go back to Killer Eye Halloween Haunt, which was done much better, but the eye goes up.
Yeah.
God, I can't remember the character's name of that one, but so yeah, but and it's kind of again they all suck. So basically, I'm just gonna go with my favorite kill, even though they all suck. Marcus Pie Face, just because Marcus finally died and I hated him so much.
Poor Marcus.
Fucking hate Marcus. So Marcus getting killed was my favorite kill.
Marcus would be the type of guy's like, hey, Marshall, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. How's everything been? And you're like, fuck you, Marcus. Like, okay, that's cool. I deserve that.
He's not that chill. He's not like RVD chill or anything like that. He's creepy pervy chill. Every line,
creepy pervy chill.
Every line he's saying is like he's trying to be smooth, talking his way into Fawn's pants.
So hey, Marshall, how you doing? You got a nice ass, Marshall.
That's exactly what it'd be. They'd be like, Marcus, get away. You're not fucking me tonight, Marcus. Get away. I'm not fucking you either. Go away. Like I don't like Mark. Anyway,
all right.
All right, let's move on to the odds and ends for this one.
Not only did they watch these films, they researched them too. Ugh, what is wrong with these guys?
Starting off with our ratings, IMDb gives it 3.9 out of 10, so nearly 4. Rotten Tomatoes, there is 0 thermometer score, which is no surprise, but there's also no audience score yet. So Rotten Tomatoes is a completely blank slate for this movie.
It still is a newer.
It's still relatively new, yeah. And Amazon, 3 out of 5.
I was about to say.
Yeah. So no surprise. Plot keywords, again, only 9, so I just wrote them all down. Sorority house, blood, strangulation, voodoo doll, independent film, suicide, blood splatter, lesbian, and lesbian kiss.
Wait. That's all of them?
That's all of them from the entire movie. That's all that's listed.
No clown?
No clown.
That's really strange.
Yep. They put voodoo doll, which again, like let's go back to that. The voodoo doll, like I said, never comes into play. Like it's a voodoo doll of a clown that has nothing to do with it being an actual voodoo doll.
Right.
Like if this wasn't a clown that Allie gave, if it was
could
like,
have been Mickey Mouse.
It could have been a Mickey Mouse doll that came to life, or fucking like G.I. Joe. It could be a G.I. Joe. It could be Cobra Commander that came back to life. It doesn't matter. So the voodoo part had absolutely nothing to do with it. They just tried to build it up like it was going to be a big deal, and then nothing ever comes of it. Plus, I don't know many voodoo dolls who talk.
Unless, since it was made by voodoo people, the blood splattered under this rage, it was able to absorb.
No, because that's
Eric
what Allie.
Robertson's...
That's why Allie explains to us. It had nothing to do with the voodoo. It's Allie's spell.
I tried.
Yeah, I that's what I thought. To be like, okay, but
yeah,
Allie explains all the way. So the whole voodoo thing is nothing to do with the movie. Trivia: there's only 2 things, and one of them I got from the credits is that it was filmed on location in Calabasas, California. Now
that's trivia.
Yeah, I'm stretching. There was like nothing. Yeah. So if you want to know, because we were also talking about the beach that they kept showing.
Yeah,
and, like Calabasas is not that.
Yeah,
beach.
yeah.
So the screenplay for now, I was somewhat close about. I still could be more right about this, but apparently, this screenplay for this film was featured in the 2011 Blacklist, which is a list of the most liked unmade scripts of the year.
Ooh.
So in 2011, it was one of the most liked unmade scripts. So I could still be right. Like that was just 2000. It could have been. It still could have been
Sure,
written
because people
and not,
were reading it and
and
like,
not
oh, I
add
like
to
it.
the list all the way to 2011.
Yeah. Like it got passed around.
But the
quite a
fact
bit.
that it made a list of most liked scripts kind of scares me.
But the dialogue isn't bad. You even said yourself
No,
at certain times. Yeah.
Like the actor's dialogue, except for Marcus, isn't bad. Every line he says I hate, but everybody else's Bobo's lines get on my fucking nerves a lot.
But But killers, I mean, a fucking killer monster little doll thing is gotta have some puns.
Yeah, I get.
Not
you.
all of them are gonna be gold.
Yeah, I get you. In a movie like this, you have. I mean, you look at every like Leprechaun,
Chucky,
the odd puns when you have diminutive killers. You have to. So that's all I could get for trivia this week. But that does lead us to this week's budget game.
Oh shit!
They spent how much? The budget game.
Oh, that's right. All shit for you. All right, Aaron. What is your guess for the budget of Sorority Slaughterhouse?
All right, you got Eric Roberts. And he's done some. He's got a little resurgence going on. I mean, he did the Batman trilogy movies. He was, Falcone in those. He was in, The Expendables, which was a major blockbuster movie as well. He's also got big line of work behind him, so he doesn't come cheap. Or does he? Because he's done some shitty movies too.
He did Camp Dread,
exactly,
and this.
So, okay, so I'm gonna
and Haunted Hollywood.
I'm gonna say he probably did 1 day's worth of work in this movie.
Filming on screen, yeah, but all those lines.
No, I bet it took him 1 day. I bet it took him 1 day to do all that stuff. So he's not demanding that much money. That's the way I'm thinking about it. The rental or the mansion, because that's a fucking huge thing. The actors, the 36-year-old sorority babe, she's been in a lot of stuff, so she probably demanded a little bit of money too. I'm gonna go. There's no special effects. $150,000.
$150,000. Aaron guessed. Survey says you're wrong.
Well,
budget for this movie: $1 million.
Oh.
Sink your teeth into that. This movie cost $1 million to make, and I swear I think almost all that budget went to Eric Roberts' salary, getting Henry Manfredi, whatever his name is.
Oh, I forgot about him.
To do the music and the rental of the goddamn house.
God damn it.
Because they certainly didn't put it into special effects or animation or anything like that.
We need to stop talking to independent movie makers because they seem to make some magic out of nothing. And then you got people who can blow their wad on this piece of shit.
But this is technically, it's an independent movie.
Well, yeah, but I mean, all through the house. I mean, they did it with nothing. And
that's just.
And that was fantastic.
Keep going back to that one.
Same thing with Bloody Bloody Bible Camp. Same thing. It was made on a shoestring budget, and they fucking crushed it. I mean, and even Clown Camp.
Yeah, Clown Camp.
Yeah.
Massacre. Clown Camp Massacre.
That was again very low budget, but they fucking crushed it. Fuck. God damn. $1 million?
I think I would say because again, when the movies that you talk about, with the exception of All Through the House, Clown Camp and Bloody Bloody Bible Camp,
yeah, their locations were free.
Not the location. I'm talking about if you look at the film quality. This was like high quality digital.
Yeah.
So they probably spent a lot of money on the cameras and the equipment, whereas the other one's not so much because you can definitely tell there's a major picture quality difference.
There is. But I was also thinking about maybe the advancement of the technology because this was made in 2016, and while the cameras are great, I don't know if they would still cost as much because, I mean, the technology's kind of caught up.
Bible Camp and Clown Camp weren't made like the 80s or 90s. They were still mid, like 2010 up.
Yeah.
So it's not that much difference. But
man,
$1 million for this movie.
Holy God damn it. I feel like there's so much more you could have done with $1 million.
Yeah. I agree.
And you had a fucking stationary clown that you're wiggling back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
where that money, like, there needs to be an investigation.
Somebody's
Okay,
embezzling.
there's some money laundering going on
Somebody had their
there.
hand in the pot.
There is some money laundering. There's some fucking coke dealer who's like, man, I need to launder this money. Guess what? This movie's going to cost, quote unquote, $1 million. It made it for fucking 80. And he's like, oh, yeah, all this money that I spent it. And then he just repockets it. He's like, oh, it's clean now. Yeah, he just found a way to launder his money. Fuck. That's, hey, I'm sticking to it.
You're sticking to
That's
it?
my story.
All right. Let's move on to 5-star reviews.
These special movies have a place in these special people's hearts. 5-star reviews.
Now, there's only one 5-star review on Amazon for this, from Gerard, who just says, nice. 5 stars.
No. I bet I didn't even watch it. You're just like, Sorority Slaughterhouse, nice.
So-
5 stars.
So, since I can't just leave it at that, I did go down to the 4-star review, which there were 4 of those. The best one being from B. Wasden. If you're a fan of horror movies that are more funny than scary, then Sorority Slaughterhouse might be up your alley. There's not a scare to be found in this movie, but plenty of laughs and eye candy. No nudity, but there are women in bikinis. I also must note that while most of the director's shit, recent movies are homoerotic in nature, this is where I got that bit from. This is not it. This one is aimed at heterosexual males, I think. There's even a lesbian kiss. My favorite actress in this movie is Jessica Morris. She looks a lot like Jenna Jameson when she was younger. 4 stars.
Weird.
Yeah, I love this movie because it looks like this girl looks like a porn star when she was younger. Really weird. And I beg to differ. Jenna Jameson was a little thicker when she was younger.
And fucking smoke show,
Yeah,
too.
I'm not saying Jessica Morris isn't pretty at all. She's skinny, but
Doesn't look like
she
Jenna
was not Jenna Jameson like.
Because Jenna
when
Jameson was all tits and ass.
She had like the proper thickness to her and all the way.
Yeah.
And
Porn
Ally
star
Jo-
thick, yeah.
Porn star thick. And Jennifer Morris is really, she's an attractive girl, but she's not.
She's slim.
She's
real
closer
skinny.
to Jenna Jameson now,
Yeah.
where she's like anorexic and skeletal looking, scary. Only she's not that far.
Right.
Anyway, moving on. 1-star reviews. Now, 40% of the reviews were 1-star reviews, but only one person actually wrote anything. From John M. Woodson, simply writes, bad. 1 star.
Amen.
Now, this one I got from, I think I got this from off of IMDb. And this was written on January 7th of 2017 from Krill Lamp. And it's entitled, So Lame. That's the title.
Lamey?
Well, it's
Anything just
lame, but
lame.
he has like 3 E's.
So you had to add the E on there? Lamey. So Krill Lamp?
Krill Lamp.
Okay, Krill Lamp.
And this is really recent too, January of this year. So this movie was so bad that I ended up browsing through it. I did not want to sacrifice a full 85 minutes of my life that I would never be able to redeem again. I thought that the Amityville Theater was bad, but I think this took the cake. I failed to see how it could even come close to costing $1 million to make.
Right?
The clown doll was just a joke. If you want to see a realistic evil doll, then do yourself a big favor and watch Child's Play, which was made back in the 80s when special effects were nowhere near as good as they are today. I'm surprised Eric Roberts was part of this garbage fest. He must really be battling financially to stoop to this level. You should only watch this movie if you are forced to with a gun to your head. No pun intended. Watch Child's Play instead. It's a far superior movie.
Thank you, Krill Lamp. You pretty much summed everything up perfectly to what I was thinking. Except I had to watch this movie for the podcast of my own free will.
But
God damn
here's
it.
my thing, though. I wouldn't necessarily say this is more related to Child's Play. I don't think it. I would
Well, I
say
mean,
it's
it's
close
cut
to
from
me. It's
this-
close to more like I would almost say. I mean, maybe like a Puppet Master, or really like even like really like I say it's more like Ginger Dead Man, because you have somebody's spirit being transferred into an inanimate object coming to life, and I
That's
don't know.
exactly what happened in Child's Play, though.
Yeah, but it's
And it's a doll.
You know,
It's cut from you gotta admit, it's cut from the same cloth.
it's-
It really is.
get it, yes, but to me it's closer. I don't think it's quite
just-
Children's Play esque. Like I wouldn't make that. I'd say it's more Ginger Dead Man esque. than Child's Play.
Okay, but still, I mean, they're still all the same kind of thing, you know? I mean, killer's body or some maniac's, spirit or something
But
is,
Child's
is,
Play
is,
yeah,
is
okay.
caught up in an inanimate object.
But didn't he? Maybe I'm wrong. I'll lose some coverage. But didn't he do it on purpose to transfer his spirit in there temporarily because he's like on a manhunt for this guy and he's trying to get away from the law?
Well, he was going to get caught.
Yeah, so he transferred his soul in there temporarily until he get a new body.
That's true.
Whereas this one, it was accidental, and in Ginger Dead Man, it was also accidental. It was not on purpose.
Semantics.
All right,
But I hear what you're saying, but I still think it's valid.
okay, all right. That's it then. We'll wrap up our final thoughts. We'll break this down and give us our final recommendations here, Aaron. I obviously I know what you're gonna say, but take it away.
Okay, well, it just the script itself. My favorite parts were the dialogue. My favorite parts were the talking. It wasn't that bad. The actors and actresses weren't that bad. They played they did well with what they had. They explained they had some mystery up front, and they explained it in that part in the bedroom between Allie and Fawn. It had potential, and it was all fucking crushed and ruined by the lack of effects, the shitty doll. It was so crappy. And you had Eric Roberts fucking nailing it, hammering it. So bad, scary. It could have been okay. It could have been okay, but man, I just could not get past the shit that was that doll.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't funny, or if it was trying to be funny, like, oh, look how silly we're being. We're just having this crappy inanimate. They fucking ruined it. They just awful.
Okay. I'm actually the opposite side. I say so bad it's good, and I surprised myself with that because I thought going into this movie, oh, it's gonna be awful. I hate Marcus. I made that abundantly clear. But like you said, the script is decent. The actors did really good with what they had to work with. I think they did a great job of finding that fine line between, cheesy and tongue in cheek without making it like too serious or too over the top. I think they walked that line very well. I enjoyed. I don't know. It is bad. Like, the doll is awful, but there's some, like, Eric Roberts does. I do get a little tired of some of the puns all the time, but it is, like you said, this type of movie is to be expected. But he does do a really good job. I mean, just like Nick Nolte nailed in Ginger Dead Man with this. And he said the more I got into the movie, the more I started liking it because, like, the stuff with Allie and Fawn and the dialogue there, I enjoyed it. I think it's worth a watch because I'm laughing because the effects are so bad, but they're laughable bad where you can almost laugh it away if in the right environment, in the right setting. You can just enjoy the shit.
I get that, trying to laugh away because it's like, oh, look how bad it is. But I couldn't. It didn't hit me that I was just like, fuck you. I mean, give it a little effort. Like Ginger Dead Man. They gave that guy, like, the effects were shitty, but, like, they were fun shitty.
I don't think
this was just shit. No one wants to enjoy that.
Ginger Dead Man's mouth moved either.
Yeah, it did.
Did it?
He had some moments where
but there's also moments in time where he's standing perfectly still, and you see the guy hold the hand of the guy holding the gun for the Ginger Dead Man.
But you also see him running and doing things. Like, they use computer graphics the right way at certain times. It just, God damn, this thing sucks so bad.
Whereas, but I'm overlooking the shitty effects. I'm enjoying it for the writing and the actor's portrayal, who I think do a good job. I do think it's worth at least a watch for at least a joke or just the fun time.
No.
We're totally split on this. So basically, who do you like better, me or Aaron? Take your pick. No, just make up your own mind on this if you ever watch it. But I say so bad it's good. He says so bad it's scary.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So that's going to wrap us up for this week. Aaron will be gone next week, but I do have a fill-in for him, so
I'm gonna
have no fear.
Gonna go get myself a Rocky Mountain High.
Yeah, he is. I'm jealous. Going up to the Denver slopes.
Gotta go hit up Denver and take advantage of their liberal laws up there.
Liberal laws.
You know.
So I will be back. I will have a fill-in. I will have a guest back with us. So in the meantime, remember, follow us on Facebook, all the other social medias, Instagram, Twitter,
our website, horriblehorrorpodcast.com.
Thank you. We're also, you can get the episodes on iTunes, Google Play, Podbean, our website. All of it's free. Check it out. So that's going to do it for us. In the meantime, watch more horror movies and always keep it tight.
But don't watch this movie.